It's crazy. We're in the last 15 days before the event. So if you saw me in the morning, happy afternoon. Like, just in case you're watching me, like, this is not myself going twice, not duplicating. We're actually highlighting another speaker. I get the pleasure of talking today with our good friend, Jonathan Mast. Jonathan Mast has been, I don't know, it's just like, I feel like we have connected in so many levels, Jonathan, on like business, like faith, like all this stuff. And JC and I have been so encouraged to see you in your own journey of being a business owner and leveraging something as innovation, like just like it might be a trigger word for some people, AI. Like the topic of this is like AI
Sure.
overwhelm. For some people, it's trigger. For some people, it's like the best thing that ever happened. And I think in your sessions, we're going to cover more about this. But for those that are watching, if you have no idea who Jonathan Mast is, I think it's worthy of an introduction. So Jonathan, would you share a little bit about your background as one of our speakers? By the way, Jonathan's one of our speakers in the topic of AI for scalability, our event coming up in April 24th, 25th, 26th in Searcy, Arkansas at Harding University, which is the #1 growth conference in the South for faith-based business owners and entrepreneurs. We're super excited about this happening in 15 days. So Jonathan, share with us a little bit of your background. For those that don't know you, how do you get into the world of AI? And who are you? Like, give us a little bit of a preview there.
I'll be happy to. Well, you get into AI because at least I did, because I'm an ADD visionary entrepreneur who I drive everybody crazy. And you discover that with AI, you can actually get more stuff done. And it's like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And quite literally, when I started using AI, when we'd first met, I had an agency and we were blessed. Things were great. And I found this AI thing and I'm like, this is so cool. All these things that have always kind of held me back. And again, if you're familiar with that through EOS and everything else, that visionary entrepreneur, that's me. But add an ADD into that, and all of a sudden, I'm able to get all kinds of stuff done because I can do it so much faster. And as you know, Karen, I said, I want to teach people how to do this because this is just amazing. It's like this total game changer. I know that's an AI phrase, but Jonathan uses it too. And I decided to go all in and was fortunate enough to be in a situation where I could. That was, just but a little over a year and a half ago that we made that call. And yeah, it's amazing. We get to talk to 500,000 people a day now about AI. And it is so cool to see business owners kind of grasp it. And you see that light bulb go on and they're like, oh, I get it. Because like you said, so many business owners are overwhelmed right now. And it's so awesome to see that light bulb go off and all of a sudden go, okay, it's not as complicated as I thought.
Yeah, or how can I use that? There's so many things that I think it's the power of learning about this tool and learning it in the right way, right? Because you can be easily overwhelmed if you're, just thinking about all the tools that you can be using instead of like the applications. And I think like that's where you do an amazing job. We're going to talk about like how to best connect with you, but Jonathan has an amazing group for entrepreneurs that are wanting to learn about AI. And one of the things that I want to highlight here is, like, I think the reason why you have grown that group to like over 300,000 people and growing, right? It's because you really focus on that application. It's not just about like, hey, these are cool ways or cool tools that are existing today. You really focus on like, this is how you solve this problem. And that's exactly why I think like one of the tracks that we're going to have at the event is AI. I think that's why you're going to be so successful at it. Can you share with us a little bit about, like you mentioned about ADD, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs can probably like maybe not diagnose, but like maybe they feel like I should be diagnosed with ADD.
Yep, absolutely.
Talk to us about how AI has helped you navigate, entrepreneurship, knowing that this is something that you have to be intentional about.
Well, again, I'm very, I'm not visionary, so I've always got ideas and I've got things I want to do, and I look at things through that lens. And AI allows me to, ironically, fail faster. And what I mean by that is I can vet my ideas, I can figure out if they're any good, and they're not all great. I mean, when I was in 20, I thought they were all great. Well, now that I'm in my 50s, I know they're not all so great, but I can now vet those. The other thing is that being an ADD entrepreneur, I'm really good at hyper focusing, and that means for oftentimes about 10 to 15 minutes. I know, don't laugh, but I could hyper focus and I could get a boatload of work done in 10 to 15 minutes. And it actually caused problems when we had our agency because I'd go learn how to do something and I'd be like, okay, this is a new service we're going to offer. I'd map it out. I'd get the SOP. Well, not really well, but I'd kind of figure it out. And I'd be like, man, I can do this in 12 minutes. And my team would get it and go, dude, that takes an hour to do. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. It takes 12 minutes. Watch. And I do it in 12 minutes. And I drive the team nuts because I could do it because I could hyper focus. The reality is that's not normal. And the downside is once I was done with that hyper focus, it's like I'd burned up all the gas and then I crashed. And there's not necessarily a whole lot happened until I got that refill. With AI, I can do stuff faster. And so that my mind doesn't get so far ahead of my body and my fingers typing and everything else. And that means that I can now extend those 12 to 15-minute sessions to sometimes an hour or more. And that means quite literally there are days I get an hour in an hour, I can get an entire day's worth of work done. And I don't have to recharge as much because it doesn't drain me, because again, it's just the way my brain works. It works so well. The other thing that's been monumental for us, Karen, isn't just how it affects me, but it's how it impacts the team, because we've empowered our teams to use it. And it's one thing if Jonathan can save a few hours a day, but if I can teach my team, even we're a small team of 6 of us, but if I can teach everybody to save an hour a day, think about that. That's 6 extra hours every day on a small team. And that is monumental when you carry that on over. And so that's one of the things we've been able to do as we've grown our team, is really empower our team to use AI as well. And that means that they're getting more work done. They're also less stressed because they're not feeling like they're always under the, oh, I've always got more to do than I do time. So AI has just been a massive blessing for us across the board to save time, to help us make more money, candidly. And what's even cooler is to deliver more value to our clients, because we all know that, business is competitive. And if we can deliver more value and make more money at the same time, that's like perfect. And with AI, we can do that.
And I know you add so much value anywhere you go, really, but especially like virtually, that's where you consistently are working with entrepreneurs, obviously through the group and all the stuff that you're doing. What I also know that you coach people in AI, right?
Yep.
So you coach business owners. Can you talk to me about what you have seen as the breakthroughs of those entrepreneurs that are consulting with you, and maybe some of those experiences that, hey, like, like I got, like through the consulting that we were doing, like this one person came with this problem and we were able to solve this. Because I think there's so many applications that I would love to just give for everybody that's watching, some of those like tips or things that you have seen work really great at the different levels that people are at today, right?
There are so many things we could talk about. I'm going to give just a really simple, practical example, if that's okay. So, a couple of weeks ago, I was working with a roofing company that wanted some coaching, and we were walking through things. And as we talked, you'll appreciate this because you're the operational excellence person. They were sharing that they needed an SOP for their team, their foreman. When the foreman got on site with the crew, they needed a standard operating procedure for how to go to greet the customer, how to let them know they were there, how to set the homeowner's expectations for what was going to happen over the next day or so as they were working on the roof. And the owner explained it to me, and I'm like, well, you know what to do. And he goes, yeah, but I can't get my team to do it. And I said, well, let's use AI. And he goes, how is AI going to help? We literally, in about 3 minutes, we took what he said. I literally had it record right into ChatGPT, transcribed it, said, create a step-by-step SOP for the foreman to use when he arrives at a residential address and what he should do. Boom, literally 30 seconds, we had the SOP. And he's like, well, that's really impressive, Jonathan, but they're not going to do it. So what good is that going to do me? And I said, well, hang on, watch this. And we said, now create a checklist for the foreman that they'll turn in at the end of every day for the job they were on for that day. And again, about 20 seconds later, we had a perfectly formatted checklist that perfectly matched the SOP. And in under 5 minutes, we had taken a problem that he had then admitted he'd been struggling with for months, just figuring out what to do because he couldn't get the buy-in. He couldn't get him to do it. He wasn't sure. We had a solution that worked. And he just messaged me the other day and said, it's actually working. He goes, they like it because now they know exactly what they're supposed to do. And he goes, I always thought that because I trained them once, they knew what to do. But I realize now, just because I trained them 6 months ago doesn't mean they're doing it every day. And the checklist actually made sure that they were aligned with the SOP, and it makes it so easy. And he goes, it's actually reduced the stress level of my crews because the homeowners aren't as upset anymore because we're setting the expectations when we arrive on site. We're handling all this. And so we've taken what seemed like a relatively small issue, and in minutes with AI, we've provided now a solution that has not only saved them time, but has improved their customer service and in my perspective, really cool, improve the demeanor of their teams and their crews. They're happier now because they're having fewer complaints. They're having less frustrated homeowners to deal with. And that's really, to me, just a very simple, very basic example of how AI can get involved and help us. And a lot of that's just by taking a look at your business and having a basic understanding of here's ways we can do it. Once you start doing it, then it gets exponential because you start seeing all these other opportunities.
Yeah, you start saying like, oh, if that could do this one thing, what else could it do, right? I know,
Exactly.
I know that, like one of your big goals, well, and actually I would like for you to share that, because I know that as the market shift, you see the needs of these entrepreneurs, and you're, obviously supporting them in applying the application of this tool. What is the purpose behind everything that you're doing today? Because I know like it's changing so quickly, the industry. So like, what's your inside motivation for doing what you're doing today, for supporting business owners with AI? Like, can you talk to us more about that for those that don't know you?
Real simply, I have a heart to help people understand that AI is a tool, and it's a tool that can amplify your skill and experience. It doesn't matter whether you're the CEO or the janitor. And I really mean it doesn't matter. It's going to amplify your skill in different ways, but it can amplify everybody's skill. And I have a real heart for particularly the teams. I want the teams who are often now a little afraid, and we're seeing even some self-sabotage happening because they're like, I'm not going to make this work because I might lose my job. I want to teach those teams that AI can help them deliver more value to their customers and to their employer, and as a result, raise their value. So it's not a threat to their jobs if they embrace it. It may be if they don't, but if they embrace it, it's not. And I really believe this applies equally whether you're getting started in the workforce or whether you're nearing the end of that. I'm in my last 20 years of it. Either way, it can benefit you. It can benefit your customers. It can benefit your employer. So I've got a heart. My big goal is before I retire, and hopefully that's not too far down the road, I want to help 10 million team members
Wow.
embrace AI. That's a lot. I've helped about 1 million. So we've got 9 million or so to go. But I'm just really excited about doing that.
I'm confident that you're going to be able to do it. And I want you to share obviously more about the group. It's super easy to find, AI for Entrepreneurs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
You've done a really great job at creating that Facebook group in a searchable way. I wanted to talk a little bit about skill with stability, right? When we were first
Yeah.
having this concept, we knew that we wanted to have you in the conference. We had just had you in the conference in Costa Rica, and we have such a great time. And you're such a great educator. I think like that's one of those things that I really appreciate about the way that you connect with
Thank
people
you.
is by really teaching them in a way that's just like, this is a no-brainer. I'm motivated and I know exactly what to do. So I appreciate that about you, Jonathan. But let's talk about the track itself. Who is
Yeah.
this for? I know we're going to have entrepreneurs from like different niches and industries and focuses, but the people that are coming to your track that have signed up already for your track, they're going to get 6 hours of content with you directly, right? So you're guiding them
Correct.
on a path. Can you talk to me about what are some of the problems that you're wanting to solve in those 6 hours? Ideas of like who's this a better fit for? Can you talk to us about that?
Absolutely. So we're designing it really, and I believe this really works for any entrepreneur, any business owner, business leader that's coming to the conference. It's going to make sense for them. If you're at all thinking 2025 is the year that I need to stop playing with AI and I actually need to start figuring out how to use it, I agree with you because I think your competition will if you don't. And our goal on the track is very simply to help you first and foremost. Let's address that overwhelm. Everybody's feeling it. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, there's new tools, there's new announcements, there's new stuff. I mean, just today there were like 6 major new announcements, and that's not uncommon. We've seen more announcements in the first 3 months of 2025 than what we normally see in years in most industries. So the overwhelm is understandable, and we're first going to help you figure out how do we address that, and then we're going to talk about simple things. One, what tools do you need to be using? We're going to actually demonstrate some of the tools and show you how to use them. Make it really simple. We will not overcomplicate things. I promise you, that's not my style. We're going to make it very practical. We're going to then show you again different things that you can use. We're going to talk about how to introduce it to your teams to make sure that your teams feel empowered by it and can use it effectively. And we're going to give you resources that you can use on an ongoing basis by helping you put some parameters around what you're doing and setting some of your expectations as a business owner and business leader as to what this might look like as we do this. Because my goal is that everybody that goes through this track, by the end of the track, they're perfectly comfortable knowing what they need to do as a business in order to leap ahead of their competition by leveraging AI in 2025.
And that is exactly what I wanted to hear, because I think there's so many, there's so many things about, like, oh, like if you're not focusing on AI today, you're like behind already. And there, like, a lot of scarcity, I guess, like type of
Oh,
like
yeah.
messaging happening right now with AI. I think with like a good intention, but also it scares people, right? And so like some people feel like, oh, I'm already behind, like, why should I, like, maybe let's start thinking about selling the business. I love that you're coming from this approach of like, how do we make this a step-by-step type of
Yeah.
opportunity. So like if you're already like savvy, with using some of these tools, you're gonna take it to the next level by being part of those 6 hours. If you're just getting started, this is still part of a great time, for you to like be able to get mentorship, the right type of mentorship in this topic that's gonna help you. I was also thinking about, Jonathan, some of the people that are coming that, or they might not be coming even, like I wanted to share a little bit of like what you have seen in the market happening with AI. What are some of the things that you feel like, like this is a must for industries in general to like be able to leverage? What tools have you seen that, is it like ChatGPT, or should we go to the next level? Talk to us about that, because I know you're like the person to be, like aware of what we should be focusing on right now.
Yeah, I probably subscribe to way too many tools, but it's part of my job to do this. And I can say that for the average business, whatever AI you have access to today will allow you to leap ahead of your competition. If you're a Microsoft shop, that may look like Copilot. If you're a Google shop, it may look like Gemini. If you're not, it may just be ChatGPT. Any of those tools, while none of them are perfect, the perfect tool doesn't exist, but any of those tools will allow you to leap so far ahead and have such monumental gains that if we would focus on using the tools we have in front of us and using them effectively, and by the way, that's the type of stuff we're going to talk about in the track, then you don't have to worry about every employee coming and going, but I want this tool and I want this tool and I want this tool. No, whatever you have will be perfectly sufficient. And we're going to show you how to do that. We're going to literally be demoing stuff. We're going to be doing stuff live. We're going to have Q&A. So it'll be very interactive and engaging. I promise you, no boring PowerPoints. That's not my style. We're going to work through and make sure that this is very applicable. And I would envision most people are going to probably be pulling out their phones, as I'm desperately looking for mine to hold up. Most people are probably going to be on their phones actually doing things with AI within the first hour of our track that are going to be impacting their business.
I cannot wait to see, the results, especially day one, 2 hours. That is, I feel like it feels like a lot sometimes, but it really is little time when you're like doing the things and collaborating with other people, which is
Mm-hmm.
the beautiful thing about having kind of like an event within an event. Now,
Yeah.
with skill and stability, this is kind of like a new type of concept that we're doing, right? When it comes to the events. I would love your thoughts on, these business owners that are coming to the conference with this idea in mind of like, how do I scale my business in a stable way? I was talking earlier with Jim Johnson, and we were talking about like, it's not so much that like the purpose of the event is not so much of like rapid growth, but more on like, if you want to have that growth, what is the foundation that you
Yes.
have to set up in place for your business? So that way, when that growth happens, it doesn't start falling down quickly. When it comes to AI and that stability, what is an idea that you want to make sure that everybody leaves that event with, as they're thinking about implementing AI, as they're thinking about like, how do I grow my business in a stable way by leveraging AI?
I think the biggest thing, Karen, is the fact that AI actually gives you the tools you need to, one, amplify your skill and experience to scale your business. And it allows you, because you're amplifying your skill and experience. We're not getting out, as we used to say in skiing, too far out over the end of our skis. We're not leaning too far ahead. It allows us to do so in a way that's incredibly stable. And when we then implement that with our teams, I believe, now I'm of course biased, it's one of the absolute best tools to both scale and do that with stability. It's one of the reasons I'm excited to be in Cersei, is that I I absolutely believe this is what AI helps us do.
Yeah.
Instead of having to develop a brand new product and go to market and hope it works and figure out all this stuff, we can use AI to do so much of the stuff that we're doing right now to bring efficiencies that save us time. That helps us make more money. That helps us scale. And we can add more value. When we're adding more value to our customers, guess what? They help us grow as well. And so all of that comes together with AI, and in my mind, to really be that perfect storm where we're at, to use AI to scale with stability, and to make sure that you can maintain that long term.
I love that. I really cannot imagine, like people that are coming, because I had that breakthrough, with AI. I was just like, oh, wow. Like even today, like the things that I'm able to do because now I have this tool, like a quick Facebook post, like things that in your, you have been like teaching people how to create GPTs, how to create,
Yep.
like this processes internally with AI to like leverage it and just to make it easy to repeat. For those that are still thinking about maybe like picking this as a track or maybe coming to the event, more importantly, can you give them a word of advice of like why they should be coming to not only this event, but like invest in their knowledge, whether it's like this event or other events? I think there's something there that we have to keep in mind as we're thinking about investing in our businesses so that we can be able to grow and scale them in a stable way.
Well, I think you're nailing it. Exactly, it is an investment in your business, but monetarily and time. But I can tell you that I've never gone to an event in person and regretted going to that event in person, because there's always been more value that's come out of that. Not only the team that we're bringing there, but the speakers that you have coming and everything else. There is no doubt in my mind that every business that's coming will get more than enough value out of that to make up for all the money and all the time that's involved, which in the big picture isn't much. We're talking a few days here, folks. But if you want to scale your business, if that resonates with you and you want to grow your business and you want to do so in a way that's stable and maintainable and that allows you to continue to do that on an ongoing basis, this is the place to be. And you're going to be surrounding yourself not only with, again, my team, but other people that are committed to seeing you have that success and doing so in a stable and maintainable fashion. I can't think of any better place to do to learn that.
Well, we're super excited to have you, Jonathan. As you know, we always enjoy our time together. I cannot wait to spend this time together with other people, getting to know, like just all the amazing people that are coming to the event. I think we are above like 500 something like registered plus students. So it's gonna be a little bit crazier than the other events that we've been part of. But I am super excited for the impact that I think not only your session, but everybody's session, and just to be able to spend time together, I think is just so valuable. Like you're saying, I don't think I've ever been in an in-person environment where I didn't get something out of it, like whether it's like
Absolutely.
value or just like an idea, a strategy that allowed me to do a lot more. Before we go, what are the best ways for people to connect with you? Just so everybody that's watching that may not be able to come to the event, but still feels like they're missing out so much, they're still able to connect with you.
Well, first of all, don't forget you can buy virtual tickets. So if you can't
Oh,
make it, you can buy the virtual tickets. So don't forget
true,
that. You'll be
true.
able to literally participate live with us right in the room. You'll be live with us. But also, if you need to reach out to me, just remember my name. It's Jonathan Mast. You can see it spelled on the screen there. Just go to jonathanmast.com and you'll find free resources, tons of things we can do for you. Or if you don't remember that I've got a white beard and my company is White Beard Strategies.
He's really living the branding. He grew up
Absolutely.
because of the brand. No, like
100%.
thank you so much. We're excited to be with you, with Beth, and everybody there. Bye, guys. Scalability.com. If you haven't got your ticket and this is making you think like, man, I would love to hang out with all these people in person for 3 days, make sure that you go and get your ticket there. And if you're wanting to do the virtual like also experience, we're going to have a virtual access there too. And if you haven't picked your track, I don't know about you guys, AI is like on top of the world right now. It might be just the thing that you need today. So I want to make sure that you just think about it twice. There's so many tracks that we have, 7 tracks in total, plus 1 for students. And it's going to be a hard pick, I know, but AI, like we just had a great conversation here. Thank you, Jonathan, for sharing what you're doing here.
Absolutely.
And I cannot wait to see you in a few. And with this, my son comes into the picture.
We love it. That's what it's supposed to happen.
Yes. Okay, there you go. Perfect. Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much, Jonathan. And with that, I say goodbye.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.